This is the Times Television Network, and you're watching ET Now.
Hello and welcome to this special show on customer experience management. Keeping a customer happy at all times is perhaps one of the toughest challenges for any entrepreneur. And driving brand loyalty through customer satisfaction is one of the sure-shot ways to success. So what does it take to cultivate this brand loyalty? How transparent should brands be with their consumers? And how tough is it to manage customer aspirations? We'll try to find the answers to some of these over the next half hour. Many facets of customer experience management were discussed at the 5th Loyalty Summit held at Mumbai. With global stalwarts attending the summit, discussions ranged from inspiring customers to be brand ambassadors, the role of social media in customer relationships, to the effectiveness of consumer loyalty programs, and much more.
My name is Sabha Khatri and I welcome all of you for the 5th Loyalty Summit 2012, presented by AIMIA and co-partnered by Loyalty One. It gives me great pleasure and honor to introduce you Mr. Akash Sahai, Managing Director, India AIMIA. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it loud for this gentleman who has over 15 years of experience, spent most of his life in Canada, America, and he's back here in India so that AIMIA grows.
Welcome to the 5th Annual Loyalty Summit. The focus of this year's summit is driving loyalty through customer experience management. Loyalty needs to be reciprocal. Loyalty is a two-way street. There's no way that we can create loyalty without giving loyalty. If we really want to drive loyal behavior from our customers, then as marketers, we need to be loyal in turn to our customers. It gives me a great pleasure to introduce this year's keynote speaker. Jan-Peter Lips is the Managing Director of Nectar in the UK and as well for AIMIA in the Middle East. JP is one of the few people, I think, I shouldn't say in this room, perhaps in the world, who has almost 20 years of coalition loyalty experience. And I think we are privileged here to have JP share some of that with us today.
Hello everyone, it's a great pleasure to be here. I always really enjoy coming to India. I find it a completely fascinating country, both culturally but also business-wise. And what excites me most about being here this time is to be in this room with you, with people who have the opportunity to help shape in India a form of marketing which I believe is much more effective and much more smart than traditional marketing, namely loyalty management. And we believe that successful businesses must deliver real relevance through a deep customer understanding in order to win. And everything and our history and experience in loyalty has taught us and gives us a strong belief that everything that loyalty marketers know about loyalty management is changing. And particularly in the field that I want to talk about today, which is the field of the collection and use of customer data for marketing purposes. Not many people know this, but Google has a chief economist. His name is Hal Varian, and he's a professor at UC Berkeley. And he's stated that the separation between the winners and the losers in the business world will increasingly be determined by the ability of a company to collect, analyze, and derive actionable insights from customer data. And the ability to do this well has become so critical that he's also coined a new phrase for these companies. He calls them the datarati. So how does today's loyalty model work? Well, we look at it as a three-stage process: identify, to understand, and to influence. The loyalty model can create profitable business. And when I say profitable, I mean profitable both for our clients and for their consumers. And it's only when they both benefit, you create a symbiotic relationship. And when they both perceive a growth in value, then the relationship becomes profitable for us as well, for the loyalty operator. A good rule of thumb in your journey to becoming one of the datarati is just take the customer's perspective. Look at their needs and work backwards. Don't follow the technology and try to force the technology into the customer's life. I want to leave you with one kind of final thought. I passionately believe in loyalty management. I think it's a profoundly smarter and better way of marketing for businesses, and it's a much more engaging and beneficial and relevant experience for the consumer. But I will speak a word of warning. When you think about your own loyalty strategy, don't just do what your competitor does. Do something special and make it memorable.
I think we're privileged to have a bunch of guys who can take us through the woods of understanding what customer engagement is. So I'm going to ask Manish to lead off. What is customer engagement?
Now, whenever we actually think of customer engagement, we actually sort of look towards West, and we think that these Western economies are doing much better on customer engagement. So there was a bit of trivia that I wanted to share with you. More than 90% of American shoppers today have more than one loyalty program. Yet, on an average, US corporations lose half of their customers within 5 years, half of their employees within 4 years, and half of the investors within 1 year. So the basic fact that I wanted to highlight is that customer engagement is way beyond just doing a loyalty program. The first and foremost factor, according to me, is all about information access. It's all about internet, it's all about social media. The way that it has changed the world, the way that consumers have access to information is just a mind-boggling experience. The second is obviously the abundance of choices. If you are not engaging with your customers, somebody else will. And that is a fact.
Customer is not buying into your loyalty program just for the piece of plastic. He doesn't come to your store or to your bank just because of that piece of plastic. Yeah, so let's realize that loyalty is one part. The whole offering that the store or the retailer offers, the experience, the merchandise, the kind of service is really all of that, and really the loyalty is a topping. There is a cost of giving points to customers, but what do you get in return for the customer? Is it purely loyalty? You get something else, and I thought, let me spend a couple of minutes on this subject. You get a lot of data, and sometimes it could be data which is completely junk. It's really the way you use the data for what it's worth. So no longer is it that you're just a library of insights and you keep understanding the customer, but you take an insight and actually put it back into your business. And I think that's really a big bang for the buck. From what I understand of Indian retail and Indian consumer marketing, it's being used in a very limited way currently.
The power of analytics, actually to add to your insights to the customer. So, in a banking, you have relationship managers who actually speak with customer. So hopefully they actually understand customer needs, but you cannot rely on the relationship manager to actually detect all kind of transaction pattern that customers have, or the, certain thing, the transaction trigger or the live event that in your database may actually tell you a much more comprehensive way than one human being and can actually analyze. So all these things, how do you combine and create the insight and really help empower your engagement with customers? I think that's where analytics come in.
The value that you get from targeting is the fact that you can actually drive and change behavior. To me, that's the big example. Advocacy and recommendation is a big driver. The second one is, I think, engaged customers actually spend more. So the benefits of having a far engaged customer brand, they're actually tangible business and profit benefits.
The entire insurance industry actually focuses on the customer engagement only as a claim. They try, because they say this is a moment of truth, and that is where the difference has to be made. They try their best to ensure the customer gets the best deal. Now, the issue is understanding of the customer when they buy a policy and to what they get when the claim actually happens. There's a huge mismatch because the way the policy has been sold, and that is where the huge issue of mis-selling to customers is prevalent in the industry, which becomes a major issue. The good part is that companies are looking at it. I think our company is now focusing on it, something which they call as market management, where they're going to put customer at the center and see exactly what are the requirements and how it moves on.
The essential point is it's about getting them to keep coming back. And if they're wedded to you in the consumer sense, I think there is a host of other things that play in the context. So if you were to do, for instance, a quick medical diagnostics on a person and you said this is his cholesterol, blood sugar, temperature and so on, gives you a normal parameter, if everything seems to be okay, for the time being there's nothing that you need to do, but 5 years down the line, unless you are continuously monitoring the relationship and getting into routine diagnostics, you would not know. So I think for us the challenge is, A, that there is always a consumer reality, no matter who you're working with. So our traditional collaborators and our traditional competitors also have a direct one-on-one relationship with the eventual consumer. But I think it's not about where you are today, but in which direction you're headed. Managing both customer and consumer relationships cuts across the organization. So if there's anybody who says, this is not my responsibility, that's a problem area.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to give the panel a big hand. I think they've done a magnificent job. Very difficult.
Well, after those interesting insights from various corporate stalwarts, it's now time to step into a quick break. On the other side, we'll discuss brand loyalty and try to find out how effective are the various loyalty programs being offered to consumers today. Keep watching ET Now.
Presented by AIMIA, co-partnered by Loyalty One.
Aditya Birla Group, taking India to the world.
India's most populous state is crying for development. Fortunes of businesses and future of India Inc. is very heavily dependent on what Uttar Pradesh decides on the 6th of March. Will Uttar Pradesh vote this time for change? I bring to you all the possible angles of the mother of all electoral battles. This is Battleground UP.
Presented by IndusInd Bank. आपने चाहा, हमने किया. Now building your website is also just like child's play and costs only rupees 449 a year. For details, log on to www.netfo.in.
Thank heaven for little girls. For little girls get bigger every day.
Lemonade 50 cents. I take Hong Kong dollars. That's it, Auntie.
What?
Nay, I'm good, ma.
Bye.
Thank heaven.
At HSBC, we believe that in the future, even the smallest business will be multinational.
Welcome back. Indian consumers are becoming increasingly brand conscious, and brands are leaving no stones unturned to please them and capture their long-term loyalty. One of the increasingly popular ways of doing this is by way of loyalty programs. Let's find out what these are and how effective are they really. The customer is king for every brand that's looking to succeed. In the constant endeavor to race ahead and increase customer base, brands across the world are innovating to please the ever-demanding consumer. A few years ago, many reputed brands across industry sectors began recognizing their premium consumers with loyalty programs. These are special privileges offered to the company's most valuable customers based on their buying patterns, all at the flash of a loyalty card.
Very often loyalty programs are mistaken to be just a simple points-based program. But loyalty programs need to go beyond that, recognize the individual as he or she is, and then being relevant and making relevant offers that appeal to them.
Program should be easy to understand and use. So because that is primary for the customer to start engaging with the brand and start accumulating points. The second important thing, most customers in India have repeatedly stated that they are in a loyalty program for the rewards which they get out of the program. So the rewards need to be well structured. It could be in-house merchandise in the case of a retail brand, or in the case of a credit card brand, it could be a whole range of catalog rewards.
But in a day and age where every brand is now offering its own loyalty program, the loyalty card is no longer a novelty. So brands are now joining hands and moving a step further. They are now offering coalition loyalty programs that have member partners from various sectors under one roof, all with a common goal.